Today I'm making beef and vegetable soup. It's going to be a hearty meal feeds up to 5 to 6 people.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the beef up and take a majority of the fat off of it. Good thing to do is just take your chuck roast, start pulling it apart at the fatty seams, if you will. You're going to come out with some bigger chunks. And it's easier to get the fat off of it that way. I love to be able to cook and get your hands dirty at the same time. Start getting down to big chunks. Cut those excessively large chunks of fat off. You leave some fat on there because we're going to cook that up. We're going to be making a gravy when we cook this meat down. So we're going to want some left over pan. There we go. We're going to cut these into. Now we're going to cut these into some soup-sized chunks. I prefer a little larger pieces, but you can cut them smaller or keep them bigger if you want. Depends on what size spoon you want to eat with. And there you go. A whole 3 to 5 pound roast cut into some fairly good sized bite-sized pieces, and we're going to cook this down. That's what's next. Place your beef into about a 10 quart soup pan. That's what size I use. You can use a little smaller because I just like the extra size. But anyway, you bring the meat up to, I cook it on medium high up until I start hearing it sizzle, which I'm doing now, or what it's doing now. And I'm going to turn that down just a little bit, stir it, and you'll be doing this periodically until it's finished. And you'll know it's finished when the meat is essentially cooked all the way through. Again, keep this covered, and you're going to come back and stir it every now and then. Now while the beef is cooking, remember it's slow cooking over there, getting all those juices built up. We're going to do the laborious task now of not peeling the potatoes, but just cutting off some of the rough edges, things that you're not going to want, like any eyes that are on the potato, that kind of thing, any gross imperfections that you don't want to have eaten. And once you get it down, you're just going to wash these when we're finished off really good. You can use a potato brush to do this. I prefer just doing it with my hand. Just rub. Right. Now we're going to go stir our beef, and then we're going to cut these potatoes up. Take one. I usually cut them a long way. Like so. And some fairly, again, chunky pieces. You can cut these smaller, you cut them larger. I use red potato mainly for the flavor. And also they hold together really well in a soup compared to any other type of potato. And the potatoes are all chopped up. Now I'm going to take my whole medium onion. I'm going to coarsely chop it without cutting myself, hopefully. Put that into a bowl. This is all prep work from when we get ready to start here. Take my celery, split it. You're going to be adding these separately, so should have been 2 separate prep bowls, the potatoes and the celery and the onion. Alright. Okay. I now have a 1/4 cup of cold, ice cold almost, water, and I measured out 2 tablespoons of quick mix flour. I'm going to add the flour to the cold water using a whisk. Stir this up pretty good. The meat has cooked down quite a bit. It's created a nice little layer of cooked down fat. I'm going to add this flour mixture to the meat. I'm going to let that thicken up a little bit. Boy, it looks good. Alright, you're going to start seeing this thicken up. What you're going to do is you're now going to add pepper. This is going to be to a taste again. I like a lot of pepper. This will be the only pepper you pretty much add, unless you realize much later, of course, you need more, but you get the hang of it. I put a lot of ground pepper in. Oh, it just smells outstanding. Alright. You're going to stir that in, let that thicken up some more. Oh, that just looks incredible. Goodness, I'm ready to eat it just like it is. Alright, now we're going to add a clove of garlic, minced. I use my good old handy dandy from Sam's great big ass thing of minced garlic here. Add that to the mixture. Stir that in. Again, we're still on medium-low heat, and we're going to let that simmer covered for a few minutes. Probably no more than 4 or 5 minutes, not very long at all.
After that's been simmering, you're going to add basically a fat-free, low-sodium broth, beef broth, to your soup. I do 96 ounces total. This time I'm happen to be using collagen because, by goodness, that's what the exchange, or excuse me, the commissary over at the base had on sale. Good stuff. All right, now we're going to bring this, put it up to high heat, and we're going to bring this to a boil. Go ahead and cover and let that start heating up. And now we're going to get the vegetables prepared beyond the potatoes. Now I know there's folks out there saying, oh my goodness, he's not growing his own vegetables or whatnot. I use stuff to get in the store. Try to make this as easy as possible. I don't get all elaborate. Try to, of course, quality stuff, but I don't go overboard on it. I have 2 pounds of mixed vegetables. These have carrots, green beans, corn, and peas. Came out of the freezer. Put them into a strainer. And we're going to rinse them down before we put them in the soup because you don't want this. I don't know. I have an aversion to the flavor that the ice puts in it. So I rinse these in cold water. Add our mixed vegetables, a little handful at a time. Careful not to let it splop up because it burns. We're going to also add at this time now the onion, the coarsely chopped onion and celery mixture to the soup. And we're going to let this continue. Get back to boiling. The soup started to boil and I've already started adding the potatoes to it. Once all the potatoes are put in, give it a nice stir. The soup's going to be really thick because it's got a lot of nice ingredients in it. Start seeing those coming up from the beef, vegetables, and onion and celery. All that good happy goodness. Now we're going to bring this again to a boil. Once it gets to boiling, we're going to turn it down to a low heat and we're going to let it simmer for 1 hour, and those potatoes will get nice and tender. The meat will get tender, and it'll taste really good the first time we have this soup. It's going to be amazing again tomorrow if you have some leftovers. Okay, the soup is completed. It's simmered for an hour. It's nice and hot. Cooked well. Yeah, we're going to spoon some out here. There it is. And that is the beef and red potato soup. Good stuff. Bon appetit.